Sullivan. How are you, my friend?
Bubba Lucky, I'm doing great. How are you?
You know, I am confused. I am betwixt. I am a whole lot of big fancy words that I can't think of right now because everywhere I look around, there's nobody around. There's nobody here, Craig. There's nobody here. And you know what? It's got me thinking. I have no idea even what time it is, Craig.
Well, it's 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. in the Empire State and New Jersey, and it's 11 a.m. in the Aloha State. So it is time for an audit.
Hey everybody, welcome to the one and only, the incredible Friday Night Audit, the only show on the internet powerful enough to make you regret the invention of the internet itself. I'm Glenn Hausman. That's Craig Sullivan. How are you, man?
I'm good, brother. We're at the end of another week. It's time for an audit.
Yeah.
And if we're the sole reason for the internet crashing and burning, we're in pretty good shape.
I know. I hear what you're saying. So, Craig,
it was you guys who caused IHG all that trouble this week.
Was not.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I do have a little more time on my hands these days, but not that much time. So, Craig, it's really good to see you.
Well, now there's the great part about the internet. We have breaking news, people. We can have breaking news in an instant. We are going live to Hawaii.
What?
Where it is not even the afternoon there yet.
No.
It's 11 a.m.
Producer Danny live on scene in Hawaii. Danny, how you doing?
So good, actually. So good. Was at the beach this morning. It rained a little. It's been beautiful.
Nice. And you did the road to Hana yesterday with the parents?
Yep. They're inside trying to get a stain out of my dad's shirt.
That's awesome.
What did they spill?
We don't know what it is. It looks like gum. It might be a name tag. We don't know.
Well, that kind of happens after a few days once you're in Hawaii. You start to get really soft. Danny, I was there myself just a couple of months ago. I did that road to Hana. What was your favorite part on it? Mine was getting ribs at a shack about 3/4 of the way down.
Oh, boy. Okay, I'll bring everybody in for this one. Yeah. But,
Hi.
Hello, Mr.
Hey.
What our favorite part of Road to Hana was yesterday.
The tropical
forest, yeah.
For me.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of the tropical plants.
The drive that is northwest of Hana was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Hana was pretty itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was surprised at how diverse the island is. I was thinking, when you think Hawaii, in my mind, I think all tropical.
Yeah.
And to have a section of it be so hot and arid and dry and 115 degrees, and then 5 miles later it's back to 84 degrees.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
I love that. How about that road though? 400 and something thousand curves. I think it was.
Yeah.
He got to drive it.
Yeah, I drove it
Good.
too. It was fun.
Challenging.
So you're saying don't go on that road if you get car sick easily.
No. We were lucky. Nobody got car sick. No.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
good.
So how long are you guys out there for?
We were here until
Tuesday night.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Nice.
And how long have you been out there for?
Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
1 week.
Yep, 1 full week.
Nice. Did you guys go to Mama's Fish House?
We're going in an hour.
Oh, that's
Yes.
fun.
For
Nice.
Can't
lunch, because even though it's dinner time here in New York and New Jersey, it's barely lunchtime out there
Right.
where they are.
Right? Did you meet with your banker about a second mortgage? Going over there.
I know. And the luau too.
All right, so
Yeah, we're going to a luau as well.
oh God Almighty! All right, good for you guys.
Do they have
I
direct
didn't know I was
flights?
hanging out with such wealthy people on air. This is awesome.
That's because you know why, right, Glenn? Because Danny produces for Craig,
Yep.
and Craig actually pays a living wage.
That's- Well,
Well, she's buying.
Yeah.
Is there a direct flight from Boise to Hawaii?
oh, look.
There's not a direct flight from Boise to anywhere except Salt Lake, I think.
So how did you guys get there? Where'd you stop through?
Phoenix.
Boise to Phoenix.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at
No.
all.
No, it wasn't too bad at all.
So who's getting ready for the new? So Glenn, are you getting
Yeah.
ready? Actually, in I think it's 6 days, 7 days, they're going to start the new JFK to New Zealand line nonstop. Who's taking it?
Wow.
I'm in.
I'll try it
I know. Got a couple of hobbits that are planning on taking a trip, but other than that, I'm not so sure.
I see it on the bus
I
every
might
day.
get off of Earth too and go to Middle Earth. So,
Yeah.
so
What are you guys going to be doing the rest of the time? What's the most exciting thing you guys have left before next Tuesday?
Lunch today.
Luau Sunday night.
And then we want to just kind of beach it, maybe go snorkeling.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
try the Hihi Marine Preserve. Did you guys stop off at the Maui Dive Shop to get that map that I had mentioned? For the beach?
No, I haven't done that yet. Okay. Now I
Yeah,
got
and
it.
also
That face was I forgot to do it. I was
Yeah.
going to completely forget to do it.
What? I'm in Hawaii. Yeah, listen, I did the snorkeling in the Molokini Crater. It was freaking phenomenal. You get to see
Okay.
so much, and the water's just so beautiful and perfect. It's awesome.
It's
So
great.
good.
Is your photo Hawaii, Glenn?
No, my photo is some random place for something totally unrelated to this. It looked pretty, so I'm like, I'll use that picture. Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, listen, Danny, we're gonna let you guys go. Get back to the fun. Enjoy Hawaii. Take
Thank
a lot of
you so much.
pictures.
Have a
And
good.
we'll-
Thanks for joining us.
Yes,
See you later.
good to see you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Talk to your
Love
uncle.
ya.
Tell him I said hi.
Enjoy, guys.
Love you.
All
Bye.
right, so Dave, we got to bring on our guest, our
Yeah.
Hold on.
official.
I have a
guest.
question for you guys. Well, actually, no.
Mhm.
Bring on our guest because I'll ask him as well.
Craig?
Oh, we caught him at the wrong
That
time.
was my delay while I was drinking.
That was a great setup for some dead air.
We have
Yes.
Russell L. Edmond, also known as Russell of Hotels. He's a content he's a creator. He's been in the hotel business. Russell and I both worked at the same company at different times. And he was one of the first guests on my old radio show.
Wow.
Oh,
This
Russell,
is awesome.
welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Appreciate you guys inviting me on. This is great.
well,
Absolutely.
we're happy to have you here. Now, let's ask you a question real quick before we start getting into Russell's background and all that stuff, because it kind of feeds into what just happened here. Glenn, you're about, and we joke about the age differences and baby Dave and all that good stuff, but I'm actually serious with this question. It's not a joke.
All right.
I think, Glenn, you're about 20 years younger than my parents. Craig, I think you're about, 10, 12 years younger. Russell, I have no idea how old you are. But
It doesn't matter.
for what just happened, and even when I was growing up, I did have the internet and things like that, but it was the infancy, right?
Right.
Instant communication was still coming around with email being new, instant messaging kind of just starting up. But let's just take a second and appreciate what just happened. We had a live video, real-time conversation from Long Island to New Jersey to California to Hawaii
Right.
Yep.
at the same time.
Yeah.
As people that, as you guys were growing up and you were kids, did you ever imagine that technology would come so far as it is now? Or did it always
Right.
just seem like a Star Trek thing?
I remember how freaking excited I was when call waiting came around. And what do you mean? We don't get a busy signal? I can click this thing and check to see who's on the other line? That's how crazy it was back in the day, Dave. So the internet is freaking mind-blowing, dude.
It's funny because for me, I don't think it came around fast enough. Now, I
Agreed.
got to watch all of the NASA, space shots, starting out with Mercury, moving to Gemini, moving to Apollo, saw the first steps on the moon.
Right.
And then at night, I'm watching the OG Star Trek. And it's like, I want that. I want that now. And everything else just never got here fast enough. And then, unfortunately, in this country, we've got a really short attention span, and we weren't paying attention to what was happening in space. And NASA took a huge step backwards for a long time. And, how weird is it that we had to rely on the Russians to get our astronauts up to the space station because we didn't have something to replace the shuttle?
And that right there is why we need the internet.
Well, it's weird.
Hey, Paula's calling in from Brazil, so now we're in Brazil.
Yeah, see,
Great to see you, Paul.
but it's crazy. And my parents. So my mother's like, I think she's 74 now. My dad's 71, and my mother more than my dad. But she grew up on Star Trek, and the fact that when we FaceTime, to see the kids and stuff, she's like, this was literally science fiction when I was growing up, and now it's reality. It still kind of blows her mind.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the old flip phone, that's basically modeled after the Star Trek communicator.
Yeah. Russell?
Yeah. And I was going to say, I don't even think, I grew up in a small remote town in California, right, where I still remember party lines.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
Party line? Is that what you said?
I thought you were 27. You ain't 27.
You said party line?
Party line.
What is party line?
That's something
You
my
basically
mom had.
share-
In her, you have one on the floor.
Yeah, my grandmother had one where you would share. Basically, she shared a line with a neighbor.
Yeah.
Basically, you pick up the phone and someone else could be on there having a full-on conversation, and you had to wait for them to get off before you could use the phone. So basically, you're sharing a line.
Yeah.
See, so we never thought the internet. I mean, that was so far-fetched. Oh yeah, we got our fix from Star Trek, but you didn't think would that ever happen? Maybe you always wondered when would that happen, if that can happen, and I guess now we're here.
But
now.
I also think the most interesting thing was it happened so slowly and incrementally. You didn't really notice the massive change that was happening. Everything just felt very normal. I remember signing on to 2600 baud and thinking 9800 was the most amazing thing. Then I got a DSL line and everything started to become a little more sophisticated year after year after year. And then suddenly 20 years has gone by and we're in this incredibly wild place now.
I would say it's actually that it moved so fast that you didn't even realize, because by the time, and it's still today,
it was
right?
Not, it was slow.
Well, maybe for you guys, but like seriously,
you're in your 30s. You're in your 30s.
Yeah. So when I always remember being in 6th and 7th and 8th grade, instant messaging had just come out. We still were on dial up. And then all of a sudden we had, a few years later, we had cable.
Right.
And it was, flying by. And I mean, a quick fact I learned recently. I mean, anybody could know this, but it doesn't seem like this, right? The time to just kind of iterate how fast technology has come.
Yeah.
The time between the first flight from the Wright brothers to when the first space shuttle landed on the moon was only 66 years.
Right.
That's not a long time.
Space shuttles never landed on the moon, but it happened before you were born. So,
Glenn, wait a minute. David just acknowledged some history prior to him being born.
That is true. We should honor this moment for what it is. Originally, I was going to say, let's take a moment of silence for the Queen, but I think this is a better moment to reflect upon right here.
But seriously, I mean, that's not a real long time for something so drastic to happen.
No.
It's really not. So it makes me think, in the next 30 years, when I'm 64 in 30 years,
We'll be
I wasn't going to go there, Russell, but
I'm already on the other side of that.
Maybe the technology at that point will figure a way to to transport your essence into a hologram, and we could be doing this stuff while looking through you at the same time. Who knows?
I swear to God, I thought he was going to do the capsulized heads from The Simpsons. I really
you mean Futurama? Yeah,
Futurama.
Both Matt Groening productions. Yeah.
Maybe you guys will live in the internet. I mean, honestly, the way VR is coming around and the metaverse and all that stuff, I think it's very possible that you're going to have people at some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but some kind of computer generated essence of a person in the metaverse that's long passed away physically.
But can we all agree that Mark Zuckerberg looks just as bad in the metaverse as he does in real life?
I don't know. I don't even know what he looks like in the metaverse, but
it's pretty bad.
Daniel, hang on to those CDs, my friend. Listen, vinyl records made a comeback.
Oh my God,
those
so
CDs
funny.
will come back now as well.
Yeah, man, I got a lot of VHS tapes and no way to figure out how to do that. I don't believe they make VHS players at all anymore.
Durain, and I actually still have my VHS player at my parents' house. It still works. We actually were watching some VHS home videos recently. But in 30 years, Durain, I will be 64. We'll be playing blackjack in the metaverse, you and me, digitally. That's what's going to be happening.
Dave, I might have to come by with my VHS tape of me in the 1986 sophomore talent show at Comac High School South. I'd love to.
You know what? You know what hadn't happened in 1986 yet?
What? You?
Me being born. My birth.
And with that, I think it's time for Glenn to run the video so we can ask our guest what he's drinking.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've been drinking this 2 times. Hold on. That's right, because we're a bunch of fucktards. We can't get things right. Thank God Aloha Friday Sully's here to save us. Russell, I'm already drinking. Sir. What are you drinking?
I'm just drinking, some orange juice with some Saint Germain. That's it, a liqueur. So that's basically it.
Nice. I love that.
But I'm a beer drinker. For the most part, I'm a beer drinker, but I didn't have any beer, so this is the only thing I had.
Yeah, I understand. I was a little worried, Russell. I was going to start drinking tequila, but I was afraid I'd be by the time that this show is over. I won't be able to enjoy this curry that I'm making downstairs. And like right now, because my kids are away, my whole life is pretty much focused on this curry. So, it's really important that I stay awake long enough.
Well, that kind of goes to Michelle's question from earlier in the show. Are you emotional with the empty nest?
I'm more emotional that it's 4 p.m. in Texas, honestly, if we're going to get real about stuff over there. No, it's weird, man, but it's pretty awesome because it's different. But it's weird and it's sad, but it's kind of cool, but it's really depressing, but it's really interesting. It's everything all at once.
How's your wife taking it? Is she feeling better?
Yeah, things seem to be going well because thank goodness. And I'm going to do this for my wife and my mom. God willing, poo, my children are doing well, So yeah.
Have you come down in the amount of times you call / text them per day?
I am not good with anything in that regard. I'm very, judicious about doling that out. I had a nice conversation with each of them last night, but it's been a week since I talked to them on the phone. She's much more focused on talking to them every day and all of that kind of stuff. But things are going well. There's no reason to interfere. Because I remember back when I was a freshman in college, Russell, we only had one phone on the entire floor in the dorm. So that was the party line for us.
Yes. I remember those days.
And Russell, didn't you just have a daughter graduate from college?
Yeah, she just got her master's and at ASU, and then she just moved to Houston. So I helped her move to Houston about a month ago. She started a new job. She's a speech pathologist. Cool. In one of the school districts there. So so she started. I don't talk to her every day, but my wife does talk to her every day.
Yeah.
Maybe we text several times a week, but not the in-depth conversations that her and her mom have.
I think that's normal. There's a different relationship between moms and kids, and I remember when my kids were little, my wife would say, "No, that's not true. They like you just as much." I'm like, "No, they bond with mom." Yeah. In a very different way. It's nothing personal against us. It's just a totally different thing. Yeah.
And my daughter will only call me if she can't get a hold of her mom.
Right.
So I'm like the last resort. I'm like, what's going on? Wait, what do you need? Well, I said, you talk to your mom yet? Well, I tried calling her, but she didn't answer, so I'm calling you. I'm like, oh, okay. At least you're
talking to you. Yeah, last night when I was talking to my son, Jake, I lost out because he was ordering some dumplings, so he had to go. I couldn't speak to him anymore.
David, you'll be able to relate to this in about another 15 years. So,
can you spend the speech pathologist to Dave? Wow, Mike.
and that's the bug man. Yeah, here we go.
Actually, I got a whole nest of bees about 15 feet to my right. I actually could be using Mike right now, to be honest with you.
Why are you raising bees?
I want to lure Mike into a trap and just have them attack.
Right. I love that. How are you training them? What's your method to turn them into attack bees?
I just routinely.
He bangs on the desk.
I was trying to think of something, but I really have nowhere to go with that.
Ah, come on! I tried.
I
to
know.
set you
I
up.
was trying. It was a good start, but I couldn't close the deal. I couldn't close the deal. I feel bad because I know the bees are an issue right now, but every summer they start building nests near my house, and I'm like, well, that sucks because I have little kids and they're gonna get stung, and then
Then you're gonna feel really guilty.
Yeah.
What I hear you should do is just stomp on it.
Mike says, please be careful, Dave. Come on, where's the button? Hit the button. There we go. Now, since you, Craig, and you, Glenn, were so kind to introduce me to Russell before the show that I had to actually encourage an introduction because no one actually did it.
I did introduce you. You weren't paying attention.
Russell, my friend, who are you?
Jump right in there, David.
That's a good one. Hey, I'm Russell of Hotels, right? That's what I call myself. I'm a hotel. I can't even speak. I'm a hotel consultant.
Too much OJ.
I think we should send a speech pathologist to Russell now.
Exactly. I do everything in the hospitality hotel space. I'm 30-year vet within hotels. Started off as a housekeeping manager, worked my way up to a director of sales and marketing, to a general manager, back to a director of sales and marketing because I don't know what the heck I did being a GM in the first place, but I had a come to Jesus meeting and say, you know what, you need to go back to being a director.
Dave, that's very inspirational words for you as a GM, isn't it?
As a brand new GM, that's exactly what I want to hear. 100%.
Yeah. So
biggest regret in my life. I wish I never did it. I'd rather be there.
See, I'm not even supposed to be working tonight. I'm over here texting about some rooms that we have issues with. So yeah, it never stops.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. And that's one reason. Well, that wasn't the main reason. The main reason was, unrealistic goals and expectations. And I think a lot of people can attest to that. And that's pretty much why I left left working on property and said, you know what, my talents are better for other people or multiple people to utilize my skills and my talents or whatever. So I'm able to now give back to multiple hotels, multiple directors of sales and marketing, multiple GMs, and just I know what they're going through. And sometimes they have a lot of questions and, I'm one of those people that can be a sounding board for them. So that's where the consulting part comes in. I used to do task force director of sales and marketing, task force general manager as well. I've done that a couple of times. But I think my talents are well suited, in the marketing, specifically content creating for social media. Right. A lot of hotels lack that. They don't want to do it. They're scared. They're afraid to do it. They don't understand it. And more so in the mid-tier space. When I mean by mid-tier, 3 diamond hotels. I mean, that's where my experience lies. That's my sweet spot. There's enough people in the 4 and 5 diamond tier to help them out, but there's not people in that middle, where most of the hotels are. That's where most people stay, are the 3 diamond hotels. So I try to assist with them and I stick to that niche.
Now, Russ, you also have an interview show very similar to what Glenn and I do as well. You're bringing in hotel professionals. You're talking about their journey and what they're doing. Yeah. They can assist. So let's go into a little bit more on that side of it.
And for the record, we don't want to besmirch Russell's skill set. What he does is much higher quality than what you're witnessing right now. Just so just to get it out there.
Brought you down to our level.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do.
This is a joint fire where everybody crashes at first.
It's hard. One thing that I found, doing multiple things, it's hard to throw everything out at one time. So I just kind of take, take a bite out of here and I'll let you know this. But yeah, Craig is right. Definitely. I have a show called On Air with Russell of Hotels, which is about hospitality, everything hospitality, the good, the bad, the ugly. I have people come on and talk because this is the thing. Everybody,
the good,
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes we skirt around those issues, and I want to make sure people know, both hotel people and people that are interested in hotels, that they know that, there's a journey there. People come from different walks of life, and there's some issues that happen. It can be internally, it can be externally, but shit does happen. So, but yeah, so I started the show, and funny, I should be on this show because Craig is one of the reasons why I started On Air with Russell of Hotels, because
that's cool.
Back in 2018, he invited me. He found me on LinkedIn. He thought I was a marketing agency, which I guess in retrospect, that's what I am. But I wasn't calling myself that back then. I was just Russell at that point. And he asked me to come on his show, Check Out California. And then after we did the show was great. He took me to lunch. He fed me, and I was happy. And on my way back, make the long story short, on my way back home.
Time to kill. Don't worry about that.
Okay, yeah. On my way back,
got another half hour.
I was thinking. I said, you know what?
Slower.
I could do that. This was fun. It was a fun
like, if
interview.
that motherfucker could do it, I sure as hell can.
Exactly. So by the time I got home, I had formulated in my head that I wanted to do a talk show, and so I called Craig because I didn't want him to think I was, going against anything that he was doing, right?
Right.
So I called him, and he gave me his blessings. He said, you know what? That'd be great. We come from a different place, and that'd be great. So 2019, January, I started my show. Now I'm up to 175 shows.
Wow.
That I do every Tuesday at 1:00 PST. So
nice.
Everyone came in the industry differently. Some people came through the front door. Some people came through the back door. Some people came through the side door. But we're all here, and we all have something to add to the hospitality space.
I came in through a secret tunnel in the basement.
There we go.
So
yeah,
Russell,
I just wanted to make sure.
Russell, you mentioned you did Task Force, and we have a question from one of our viewers, good friend Chris Pretieri. He's looking to transition into Task Force for his management company. What's the best advice you can give him?
Task Force for his management company? Well, first, do they know that? Yeah. First of all, do they know that he's interested in being in Task Force for his management company? I would let them know that.
Let's assume he's had that conversation.
Okay. I mean, you guys just do it, right? I mean, if you have a skill set, you just do it. I mean, I came from a place where the management company that I work for, they knew that I was still interested in doing something, but I didn't want, because the thing of it is, for me, a task force person has a expiration date. Okay. Meaning, at a certain day, they give you a date when you first start that, okay, your project is going to go, 3 weeks. Cause I've done them for 1 week. I've done them for 6 months. Okay. So, when that date's going to be. And then from there, you just do what whatever your skill set is. If it's a general manager, you got to let them know. But he says they do know that he's interested in it. But bottom line, you got to put yourself out there. You have to do it. You have to take the assignment. I mean, as far as giving advice, I mean, it's just like doing what you would normally do as a GM, as a director of sales and marketing. I mean, those are my experiences. Only difference is it has an expiration date, meaning you got to get some things done during that time. And a lot of times they'll map out what they want you to do. Okay, we want this done. We want that done. Is it a babysitting opportunity? Meaning they're between, say, general managers, they got rid of one or one left, or one is on maternity leave or whatever. So there's different situations, the reason why you would take over as a task force person. So I would find that out, because there's going to be certain things they want you to do in that time frame, because basically you're still either you're babysitting or you're trying to get things done. I mean, do they have staff? Do they want you to hire staff? Do they want you to assist in hiring staff? I mean, there's a lot of different things that they're going to ask you to do. So you just have to know what those things are and have them mapped out for you.
Well, let's take it, this particular point of view, Russell, that it's not purely babysitting. They know that they need to rebuild that team. So they're bringing you in. Let's just say they cut the GM. That wasn't working. They brought you in to GM it, and they need you to interview, for key personnel to come in, whether it's a POS, an AGM, an engineer, senior engineer for the property. How would you approach all that?
How would I approach all of that? That's a loaded question there, Craig. I mean,
Yeah, I
those are
thought
things.
I thought we were going to drink and have some laughs. What the hell's wrong with you?
God damn it, Chris, you screwed up the whole show.
If those are the things that you're outlining, then okay, you take one at a time. I mean, basically, okay, how much time do I have to do this? How much time do I have to hire? Who else is in charge of? Who else is going to be involved in the hiring process?
Right.
Let's just talk about hiring. So there's a lot of things. I mean, it's not just as easy because it's funny. That same situation happened to me where I was assisting our CEO with finding a new GM for the hotel that I was being a task force person at.
Yeah.
So, but great information. Great. Thank you, Chris.
No, Chris, we're happy to help you out. This is awesome.
Yeah, no,
Russell, keep going, man.
we're just joking. Yeah, this is a great conversation.
Yeah, of course. But you got to take step by step, right? Okay, how much time do I need to hire this person? Are they advertising on LinkedIn? Am I in charge of doing that as well? I mean, because there's a lot of things that are going on here that you may want to be involved in. So, I mean, do you know people in that particular market? If it's a salesperson, if it's a director of sales, are you looking for somebody within the market, outside the market? Does it matter? Are you looking for a warm body? Are you looking for someone that has X amount of experience? What are you looking for? What type of hotel is this? I mean, there's a lot of things that go on in your head to figure that out. But for me, what I did was I waited for them because they wanted to know who they were interviewing. So they set up the interviews for me. So basically the resumes went to my CEO. My CEO sent me those resumes. I looked them over and basically said, okay, I like this one. I like that one. Why do you like this one? Why do you like that one? I'll tell them, well, because of experience, because they are close to this market. And I think that's important because you want a GM that has some type of sales experience or some type of tie maybe to that community or that area or whatever. I mean, if you can do that, if you can afford that, you would want that.
Yeah.
But then from there, then you interview them. I was in charge of, doing the tours. They stayed the night, all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of, the hiring person without being the hiring person, right? Because basically my CEO took my advice. So whoever I think I interviewed 5 people, and they basically took my advice. Whoever I thought was the best candidate, that's the person they hired.
Nice.
So
like
I want to flip that real quick because Craig's right. You may come in as a task force GM and have to rebuild the team, right? But now let's flip the other side of how task force can go. You may be coming into an environment that's actually pretty sustainable. You maybe have a great team that's running a great operation. The hotel is doing well, and the GM maybe they're doing so well, the GM gets a really big promotion, and now you have to come fill in to bridge that gap. So how do you as a task force general manager come in, learn about the hotel, learn about the market, but more importantly, come in and not disrupt what's been successful? How do you kind of get all that knowledge while also making your impact?
Good question.
That's a great question. And it comes from assessing what's going on. Okay. First and foremost, when I come in, I'm not coming there regardless of what the situation is or what I'm walking into, it's about building a rapport with who you're working with.
Right.
It has nothing to do with, now I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing that. We're going to start having meetings and you're not doing this. You're not doing that. No, it's just about laying the groundwork, letting people know why you're there. Okay.
But also, you want to build that level of trust so that you're able to effectuate change, right?
Exactly. So let people know why you're there, build that level of trust, just assess what's going on. I'm taking mental notes. I'm talking to everybody. I'm walking around the different departments, getting to know the department heads, if that's housekeeping, if that's accounting, if that's, front office. You're just assessing the entire situation. So from there, and then you're whatever duties you've been given, then that's what you do. But first and foremost, the first couple of weeks, if any time, is just basically assessing what's going on, because the people that walk in and with guns blazing and all that, regardless of the situation, they're never successful. Because I've seen it before. I've been on the other end where I've been a director of sales and a person comes in, not even a task force person, just someone as a permanent general manager.
Right.
They're coming in and they're coming, like I said, with guns blazing, and they're never fully accepted into the team or the family. If you
right.
will.
Because if you can't get your people behind you, you're always going to have an uphill battle that you won't be able to win.
I can give you guys a real great example of this. Unfortunately, in my career, once upon a time, but I was working hard. I learned a lot, came along, and I had a great opportunity where I got together with this person who knew a lot. He worked hard, got himself in the industry, but he's a tyrant behind the mic. And anytime that I would want to make a suggestion, he would put the hammer down and say, "No, it's my way or the highway." And
I would also do a little FU dance.
It's incredibly difficult to work for him.
You're talking about me, not you.
It's incredibly difficult to work for him, and so that's my horror story.
That's right. Stay tuned for more in all of October as we celebrate horror and Halloween. That'll be a lot of fun.
Now, Michelle's a real quick question just before we continue on. What's the drink of the day again, Russell?
I had orange juice with Saint Germain, which is a Saint Germain liqueur.
Nice.
Oh, I've had that.
I think you put a couple of dents in that bottle.
More than a few.
He opened it just an hour ago, so
exactly. There's just a corner left.
Russell, I've got to compliment you on your choice of microphones there.
Oh, I noticed that right off. I noticed that right off. Yeah, I'm a quick study, and one thing that I learned while on this podcast journey, I listened to people. I listened to other shows and watched other shows and saw the tools that they were using, and the common microphone was the Rode. So, so you're one of the shows I watch. So
yeah, man, these things sound really nice, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Right.
I've got the same one, but I've got the windscreen on.
Yeah.
So Michelle loves Saint Germain with cucumber and potato vodka martini.
Huh?
Are you Irish?
I don't think Russell's Irish.
Wait a minute.
Very well.
Why do you assume that?
Because I would think that you probably had roots in Africa or the Caribbean in your family history.
Well, you got to back up. What history we're talking about here, Glenn? Actually, my grandmother's maiden name is Love. Love is an Irish name.
No
way.
No.
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
So let me break this down for you. Okay, can I break this down for you?
I think I'm starting to understand now this drinking problem since you cleared out that whole bottle.
Listen,
you gotta remember, we have a lot of stuff. We may look a certain way, but there's a lot of stuff that is in the makeup of us of black
that's
people
pretty awesome
as a whole.
Yeah.
So and we've been able to trace our roots back to the slave owner in Ireland, whose name was Rasmussen Love.
Right. Wow. That's really interesting. My family's just from Russia, Poland area,
So no, we're big on we do a family reunion every 2 years, and we have one main person in our family, like a family historian, and so she broke down. She went to the Mormon book. The Mormon. I can't think of it, but you can get a lot of archives there. So she was able to trace it back as far as there.
Really, that's fascinating. Yes, I heard. I heard. I think the government had relied on their records or something like that for a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, if you're ever trying to find your roots or trace your roots, the Mormon. I think it's called the Mormon Archives. I can't remember what it's called, but it's one here in LA.
Yeah,
definitely here in LA. Yeah.
Wow.
You also go to Trinity College in Dublin. They've got the same thing, and it's funny because I'm going to give Trinity College the credit for it. They mirror one another in that genealogy, and just Trinity College has been around forever, more so than BYU and everything in Salt Lake City. And I've been to Trinity College, and it's amazing. It's just something to really, if you're in Dublin, you should definitely go there and take a look at it. Now, Russell, you're also doing a lot of things. You're showing off hotels. What's the funniest thing that's happened to you going to one of these hotels to film one of your tours that you just couldn't stop laughing about?
I don't know if it was funny for them.
It's okay. Funny is fine.
I wouldn't say anything,
Don't name the
funny.
hotel. Just say it was.
I would say more. It was a shock that someone was allowed to check into this room. It was comical that way, but not comical to them when I brought it, to their attention. And I post a lot of this stuff where it was just a lampshade that was, you can just twist it all the way around. It was burnt. It was cracked.
Just looks gross.
Exactly. And I basically put this on social media, not the hotel, but just how many times, the caption was, how many times has this room passed an inspection? Okay. Because every room should be inspected prior to, you selling it or reselling it to another guest. Right. Mm-hmm. But this was old. I mean, this hotel, this lampshade probably, I'm gonna say it was probably like 5-6 years old. So how many times did this room pass an inspection prior to me getting it?
Because sometimes I think some of these problems just become invisible to the person who's seeing them because they're just there, right?
Yes.
And it just blends into the whole culture of the property, probably.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of hotels we used to call fresh eyes. With back in Interstate
Hotel
a song
days by Dr. Hook back in the 70s.
Yeah, it was something like that.
No, Sexy Eyes.
That was Sexy Eyes. Yeah. Sexy Eyes. But with Interstate Hotels back in the day when I worked for them, now Interstate is now Aimbridge Hospitality, right? So this goes back some years ago. They would have a GM come over and do a property tour with the current GM, just as a set of fresh eyes. Right. Meaning, because you get used to seeing the same things over and over again. That's right. Yeah. And you would be amazed what lights are out. That emergency light is out right there. Right. Or this lampshade is busted and you need to change it.
What a great idea.
Yeah. So that's one of the examples that I use when I talk to hotels, when I give some consulting, tips or whatever. You should hire someone, you can hire me, to come in and just kind of look at it from an outside perspective, because you never know what, you've been walking by for the last year, and it can be a hazard. It can be just a hazard, or just dirty, or something that is a maintenance issue that needs to be repaired. So
now I'm asking for a friend. Have you ever found anybody tied up in a room?
Look, dude, I told you not to tell anyone about that,
man. No, but I have, in my career, I have walked in on a lot of different things. Now, mind you, I used to be a housekeeping manager, right? So, we would walk in on the darndest things, people in the rather peculiar positions.
Wasn't that an ABC show in the early 90s? Hotel guests do the darndest things.
But never anyone that was tied up, but handcuffed. Yeah.
I love how you're being very specific about that.
It's a fine line.
Not tied up, but handcuffed. Yeah.
Handcuffed. Yeah. Tools used for some different type of activities and funds that people leave behind in their rooms.
Oh yeah.
So now everybody that's worked in the hotel, especially in certain positions, you walked in on people.
I'd like you to define how you're using the word positions right now. I'm a little uncomfortable.
Does it involve a wheelchair?
There are a lot of things I could talk about. That is for sure. And just
we've got 11 minutes. Go for it.
So, what's your number one story?
My number one story?
Yeah, number one story. When someone says to you, and they've never worked in hotels, and they say, "What's the one story that describes your experience in hotels?" Give us that one story. Could be funny, could be sad, could be anything. What's the one story? I know you have a million of them, so do I. But what's the one that stands out?
I'll say meeting celebrities, and how some of them can be real nice and some of them can be complete a-holes. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of who was the best one I've ever met and who was the worst one, and it happened to be at the same hotel. You want the best or the
first? Who was the best? Who's the worst?
The best one was John Madden.
Yeah.
John Madden, I met early in his broadcasting career. I mean, when you talk about a people person, he wanted to know you. He shook your hand. He remembered your name.
That's
I
awesome.
saw him like 3 or 4 times during this stay. He would always remember my name. This is when he had the Madden Cruiser. He let me come on the Madden Cruiser.
Oh, damn.
And yeah.
Oh, wait. So everybody who doesn't know, including Baby Dave, he didn't fly, so he had a tricked out luxury bus that he went everywhere with. Yeah, go on, Russell.
Yes. He was just the most down to earth person I've ever met. Now, move on to the biggest asshole I've ever met was Jimmy Connors, the tennis player. Jimmy Connors.
Picture of the Madden Cruiser right there.
Yes. There you go. So yeah, Jimmy Connors was probably the worst. He was doing a tennis tournament. I lived in Sacramento, worked at a hotel in Sacramento, and there was a tennis tournament going on, and all the Billie Jean King, Jimmy Connors, and a couple other stayed at our hotel. I mean, they were. I think Billie Jean King was long retired at that time, but Jimmy Connors was maybe at the end of his career. Okay, so he was still either playing or just a celebrity. Well, he comes in. There's this kid has a magazine with a picture of Jimmy Connors on the front. So he wants him to sign it when he comes in because they know that the tennis pros are staying there. So he walks in, and the little kid walks up to him and said, "Hey, Mr. Connors, can I have your autograph?" And Jimmy Connors grabbed his book, looked at it, and said, "I've signed too many of these already." And he tossed it. He just threw it and kept walking. I'm like, that is the worst thing I've ever seen. But
and talking about
if I was a guest in the lobby, I would have been like, "F you, a-hole."
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But let's get to the upbeat, and with with Coach John Madden.
Well, that wasn't upbeat enough for you?
No.
I got another one.
You got
I got another one
upbeat. Yeah.
Jimmy Connors, so let's bring it back around. When Coach Madden, after he retired from the Raiders and he was on the road and all that, he also had an ownership stake in a hotel in Napa, as I recall. And a buddy of mine was also one of the partners on that. And they said they always knew when Coach Madden showed up before their ownership meeting, because he'd get there first, and it wasn't that they saw the bus,
right?
But they could smell his cooking in the kitchen, making the meals for all the partners.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It's like,
that
wow,
cool.
that is really a nice thing to hear. So, speaking of cooking, vegetarian.
Yeah. So, Russell, here's the thing. We're really running short on time, and I want to talk to you more in depth about this. But we're trying harder to eat more vegetarian meals. But being raised in a meat and potatoes kind of the universe, it's difficult to find things that have a real depth of flavor.
Especially because you're Irish, Russell.
That feels like you could be very satisfied, right? So, what are some of your suggestions, tips, hints on how to really focus? What are some really good vegetarian meals that you go to that the rest of us would probably enjoy as well?
Well, first of all, let me just let you know that I'm a vegan, not a vegetarian. So there's a big difference between vegan and vegetarian. Okay, I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy, I don't eat cheese, I don't eat eggs.
Sorry about that chicken curry I'm making downstairs.
So right. So
that's fine. But what I try to do is veganize things, meaning you're making chicken curry. Funny, you should say that. Last night I made mushroom curry.
Cool.
Okay, mushroom and vegetables or whatever.
Yep.
So it's the same process. I use like coconut milk and things like that. But of course, there's no butter in there. There's no meat. There's nothing like that.
I got nothing like that. There's no dairy in my meal tonight. As a matter of fact, just
exactly. So
chicken. Which
what I would do
not good
is
for the vegan thing, but close.
Exactly.
So my steak and lobster drizzled in butter tomorrow is not going to fit this meal plan. Is that what we're saying?
Nah, not for me. But yeah, so I would say do it in steps. Do it like do meatless Mondays if you want to do
we
that.
do stuff like that, but like I'm all I don't know if I feel like I want to be vegan, but I do want to eat more more plant-based meals, but I find that it's very difficult to find those meals that really work well.
Well, just like I just said, do you like mushrooms?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Okay, well,
not a
instead
savage,
of
Russell.
instead of using the chicken,
Yep.
try using mushrooms, and you can use creminis. You can use
Yep.
king mushrooms, or what are called trumpet mushrooms.
Mhm.
You can use oyster mushrooms. So they all have different textures, different tastes, different flavors. So that's what I did. I started off the way I kind of wean myself off of meat or whatever, eat more chicken. I just started incorporating more vegetables in everything that I did. So, and then when I eventually deleted all the meat, it was not a big deal. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So, but I was a vegetarian for 12 years before I became a vegan. So I've been vegan for 3 years.
Wow.
Okay. And so I used to be a meat eater. I used to eat fish. I used to hunt and fish and all that kind of stuff. So
you know what really pisses me off, Russell? People that say they're vegetarians but eat fish. And then I politely tell them they're pescatarians and they like don't want to deal with that. They can't handle the reality.
Russell, what as a bona fide vegan of multiple years and vegetarian then vegan, what are your thoughts on the vegans and vegetarians that can't go a single minute of their lives without telling somebody?
I'm not one of those people. I don't condone that. I don't condone that because I know exactly what you're talking about.
They remind me of the people that constantly say that I have a rescue dog.
Dave, I don't condone that. I don't condone that. You'll never hear me say that. I'm by choice. It was by choice, meaning I was having some health issues, and that's why I became, because I said, well, my cholesterol runs too high, my blood pressure runs too high, and I didn't want to be on a lot of medicine. So I said, how can I cut this out? Well, the problem is the meat. So I cut out the meat, the butter, and all that stuff. But there is vegan butter. There's things like that. But veganism is a whole different lifestyle. My diet is vegan.
Right.
Okay. I'm not a vegan, meaning I still wear leather belts and leather shoes and all that. Yeah. So that's a whole movement. And so those people are different, Dave, than just a food thing.
So over the video that we watched earlier, which I won't play on the show, would you have
that wouldn't bother me. That wouldn't bother me.
Would you have been with the lady?
I would have laughed. That shit would have been funny. I would have been I've been rolling. I've been on the ground.
So let me ask you something, Russell. The other day you were talking about that trumpet mushroom.
Yeah.
Okay? Or king's mushroom that goes by both names, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, you said to cut it up and you could make it a scallion or a scallop?
I said scallop. Scallop.
Now,
depending on how you cut it.
I think Glenn would love to hear your recipe on that, and I know I do because it just sounds really fascinating. So would you tell us on how you discovered that and how you make that, please?
Well, I wish you had told me before that's what we're going to talk about, because I could have brought one right here. But anyway, so trumpet mushroom is long, right? And it's pretty thick. So I slice it lengthwise you can grate it like cheese. Yeah. And it has a consistency like a pulled pork. Okay, so you can say if you're making, you can do carnitas or something like that.
Right.
So you would take one of those stems off, and you would lengthwise to grate. Like I said, it shreds. But the other way, crossways, you would cut it, and it has the kind of consistency or the look of a scallop. Mm-hmm. And some people will even score it on top. Score it up and down or whatever, and it has a consistency. It looks like a scallop. Doesn't taste like a scallop, but you can mix things with like nori, and gives it kind of a seafoody taste kind of thing. Because what I do, and this is something off of the mushrooms, tofu, and I make like instead of tuna salad, I make tofu salad. But what I do to give it the fishy taste, I use nori. So I'll crumble up nori in there with the mayonnaise, vegan mayonnaise, and all the other things that you would put in there. And you would be amazed how some of these things take on the taste of of a seafood.
I'm sorry
right,
to interrupt you guys. I got to bail because I have to
Dave,
get
before
Fox
you
to
go,
school.
happy birthday this
Happy
Sunday.
birthday.
We're so excited for you. Happy
1
birthday.
year older, Durain. I'm getting 1 year older to being a grumpy old man like the two people above me.
No chance in hell. You'll always be our baby, Dave.
All right. Well, enjoy, guys. Have a great weekend.
See you later,
Pleasure
Dave.
meeting you, Dave.
Hey,
Pleasure
say hi to
meeting you.
Annie. Bye.
Yep.
All right. So this is probably a good opportunity for us to go to the most exciting segment of the show because it means it's the end. That's right. It's a Plug-a-Palooza. Russell, this is your time to be even more shameless about what you do. Give us a good plug for your business.
Well, I'm Russell of Hotels. I do consulting in the hotel and hospitality space, tourism, non-meat eats, anything that has to do with vegan food and things like that. But yeah, I'm a consultant for hotels, just sales and operational. That's task force, that's being a general manager. But my love is content creating for hotels. So social media is one of the things that I really excel at, and I'm pretty good at. So I do a lot of content creating for hotels, not just for hotels, but for myself as well. As you can see, my brand Russell of Hotels out there. And then also I have a talk show called On Air with Russell of Hotels, which it airs every Tuesday, 1:00 PST, live on YouTube. So, check me out and give me a follow and give me a subscribe to my channel, please.
RussellofHotels.com. RussellofHotels.com. Aloha Friday, Sully. Where am I going to be next March?
You and Russell will both be at the 6th Annual California Lodging Investment Conference on March 1st and 2nd at the beautiful West and South Coast Plaza in Orange County, California. It's the only hotel conference that focuses exclusively on the California hotel market. So we're making a big push. We've got a lot of announcements coming out post lodging conference. So we'll let Harry and his team shine, and both Glenn and I will be at the lodging conference. So we're looking forward to that. Still kind of up in the air whether we do a special Friday night audit during the week or not. Don't know yet. But
I don't know. We might just be doing too much of an off-air audit.
Yeah, great possibility of that. And then producer Danny and I, we start filming our 7th season of Click Connect the week after the lodging conference. So we're really looking forward to that. Russell, you have got an opportunity to be my guest at Click 6. So I will get you a ticket for that. And then
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
I want to talk to you about having you on Click Connect, my talk show, and it won't interfere with your schedule because we film on Wednesdays. And Glenn, you always have to make an appearance during the season for me on my show. That'll be
exciting.
And my puppy is 11 months old as of yesterday. So,
are you going to show him? Are you going to show him?
He does not like the studio because he does not like the C-stand and the light over my head.
Okay.
She barks at it, so she won't be coming in the studio till I move the light and put it away.
Okay. All
right. Too funny. All right. Check out No Vacancy Live Tuesdays, Wednesday, Thursdays at noon. Of course, the one and only Friday Night Audit. Friday nights, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Come see us at the Lodging Conference. I'll be hosting Wednesday, the 21st general session, leading it off to with all the hotel industry CEOs. Really looking forward to that. What else do I got going on? I will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah because I'm culturally Jewish over there, and going out to the Everhome Suites, the first ever home for Choice Hotels out in the California area. We could get together, guys, while I'm out there. I'm going to be doing some stuff. In October, you'll see me doing a keynote address with Anthony Melchiori at the HAMA conference. I'll be going to Las Vegas for an NEWH event and broadcasting from there. Hopefully the Cosmopolitan. Wish me luck. Lots of great things coming up in the next couple of months. Be sure to follow us. Thanks for watching tonight. We'll see you next week on Friday Night Audit. It's the only
Aloha.
aloha.
Hey, no talking over the credits.